So much things are going. So much things are going. I wonder if I keep up with the news them, both here and abroad. Especially abroad. Yes, because we see certain things are going where it look like it's so reach our doorstep, you know. Yeah, because we see the president of America gone in a war with Iran. And you know, Iran, they're way over the other side of America. And everyone is wild like a Lego beast. And you know, some say Cuba is a problem. So I'm going with Venezuela. Now I'm there Iran. I'm going to make a U-turn and come way over to Cuba. Because them already lack off light. Well, not even lack of light, but remove the need that Cuban people have, and that is gas and oil. The place where the music get it from, which is Venezuela, them lock it off. So the people, them is in darkness. Serious darkness. Meanwhile, Iran is fighting against maybe the world of the Middle East. Because them decide, say, them not take the foolishness where Israel and America put out or fight back. And we can see how much how much countries start to get involved. And they bring, you know, say, the last World War them have, well, them say a World War, but it's really white people that kill white people. Even though them say black people love kill one another, we don't know if we unite, but it's about 15 million Russian dead in that war. And Britain, Germany, all of them kill one another. Them says a world war, we never in a war. They are sing and a dance and a drink coconut water and white rum. But them have been involved in it. But now, it's a different time. Now, it's not white people that kill white people again, it's white people that kill everybody. Including white people. And we see it as spread. You know, we see it as spread. First them wrote them a try, the American government a try to run out all people of color out of America. So we are create problems. Them a get smaller in terms of population growth. Them a get smaller, so them need to move out the colored people. And then now we say them gone way over the other side of the world. Way over the other side of the world. I claim that the man have nuclear weapons that develop. After I'm done, say him wiped out the other day. I just look the other day, him say them can't do it again because him bomb them and get rid of them. Most of the world listen to that program, I never ban. We never ban when World War II did about. But we're in a situation now where maybe we could have lived to see a World War III live power color TV, instant replay. May I tell you, at this of the earth reach now. At this of it reach now, so I don't know if people who are planning certain things, it's even important for planet because you're gonna wake up tomorrow and hear say, I even feel bomber drop off of the coast of Jamaica, yeah? And even in a certain place where you never expect bomb to drop. And put it with the hurricane and the earthquake. Serious thing. We have to face it. We have a life to live and we have to just live it. Give us life to live, let us live. Yeah, we have to live. And when we say live, we not just live like rats and junk and all them something there. Human being kind of living we are talking about. Only probably don't know understand how to live that way. They're like normal human beings. Not like the junk with them. Or the rat them. We are sneak up on you. And that is the time we're in here now. That's the time we're in here now that so much rat and junk with about the place. You have to hold on upon who you love and who love you. Yes. And share with each other continuously. And who you love, you have to tell them say you love them. Yeah, you have to tell them say you love them. Whether them is man or woman. Because some man feel say love or sex. So him fall in that trap there continuously. Him get homophobic if him tell a woman, the man say him love him. Because him not understand the word where love is supposed to be. So me I say it on this program, yeah. Don't scared. Don't afraid. No matter who I listen to you. If a brethren and a next brethren say eye to eye and can share the quality of life that is necessary for two human beings live in harmony with nature and themselves. Love is always the key. Love. People say it, but well, people don't mean it. If you listen to the music them nowadays, all of it I show you say, man don't need no friend and all them something there. Your friend this and your friend that and you know not no friend business, but can't live without that. No man is an island, no man stand alone. And that we are talking about. Think I get away, man. Really I get away. When you hear the one them talk to one another, they imagine a woman all drown a baby in some water. This week, yeah. What kind of mind do that? Where the mind they come from? Them can't find certain little picnic. We see where in America, yes. They might realize, in the church, over a period of long times, how much dozen picnic the father them sexually assault. Yes. I guess them are the altar boys. Them put them on the altar. And these are the men who supposed to have way safe. When you call a politician, you're supposed to look after certain economical welfare and you're supposed to feel safe. When you put your money in the bank, you're supposed to feel safe. But guess what? Not so. You have to worry, fret. Yes, have high blood pressure and everything there. Anyway, it's news time.
The Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, has expanded its inner city service between Kingston and Ocho Rios. As of next Monday, March 9, the bus company will introduce Route 611 between Ocho Rios and Halfway Tree. The JUTC already has a service from Ocho Rios to downtown Kingston. This new service forms part of the JUTC's ongoing efforts to provide reliable and affordable transportation options for commuters traveling between the corporate area and St. Anne. Corporate Communications Manager Chantal Thompson says the expansion reflects JUTC's commitment to listening to its customers and responding to their needs. The construction phase for the new Port Antonio bypass in Portland is set to commence in the next 8 weeks. The project, valued at $81 million, is being done under the contract for the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project. China Harbor Engineering Company, CHEC, is charged with designing and building the 7.5-kilometer road. The road will stretch from Turtle Crawl Harbor to Norwich in the west. Manager of Communication and Customer Services at the National Works Agency, Stephen Shaw, says the design phase for the project is nearing completion. CHEC has started some clearance activities and government-owned land, which is considered part of the construction phase. Mr. Shaw says some 292 parcels of land will be acquired in part or completely for the construction of the road. The road is expected to be completed in 18 months. In news overseas, the Israeli military has ordered hundreds of thousands of people to leave Beirut's southern suburbs as it steps up strikes targeting the Iran-backed armed group across Lebanon. Huge traffic jams formed on main roads heading north and south as panicked residents complied with the unprecedented blanket order covering the area. On Wednesday, the military told all residents of a huge swathe of southern Lebanon near the Israeli border to leave ahead of a much-anticipated ground incursion. And finally, more than 200 people, including 70 children, have been killed after a landslide caused a collapse in a mining area in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The landslide struck Rubaya, the country's biggest source of coltan, an ore vital in the electronics industry, in the rebel-controlled east on Tuesday following heavy rains. In a statement, the Mines Ministry blamed the tragedy on M23 rebels and said they were allowing illegal mining without proper safety standards. According to the BBC, the M23 is yet to comment, but a source in Rubaya told the broadcaster that the collapse was caused by attacks from government forces and only 6 had died. The government has not responded to the claim.
Yes. No, I want to play this little clip here, believe you me, I have to play it. Because it reached a level, where I have to play it. Serious? So here we are going to play it.
Journalist Jonathan Larson reports that U.S. troops were being told that the U.S.-Israeli attack on Iran was in preparation for Armageddon and also the return of Jesus. Jank, is this comforting information for you?
No. Just when you thought the Israeli Zionists were bad enough in starting wars for all the wrong reasons, here comes the Christian Zionists. Joy. Wait till you hear what the commander said about why we're in this war and what to do. Tell us about it, yes.
All right, so let's give you the high points. This is from Jonathan Larson's report. He says, a combat unit commander told non-commissioned officers at a briefing Monday that the Iran war is part of God's plan and that President Donald Trump was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to Earth. And that is according to a non-commissioned officer. So we'll talk more about whatever that even means later. But between Saturday and Monday, more than 110 complaints had been logged by the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, or the MRFF, regarding the rhetoric about commanders in every branch of military. The complaints were widespread across more than 40 different units across roughly 30 military installations. And according to one report, the non-commissioned officer wrote to the MRFF that their commander urged us to tell our troops that this was all part of God's divine plan, and he specifically referenced numerous citations out of the book of Revelation, referring to Armageddon and the imminent return of Jesus Christ. And it is very understandable that all of this is coming directly from the top, because Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has enshrined evangelical Christianity at the uppermost levels of the U.S. military, airing monthly prayer meetings throughout the Pentagon. Last year, the Pentagon confirmed to Larson that Hegseth attends a weekly White House Bible study, and it's led by a preacher who says that God commands America to support Israel. And these are the people, again, who are running our country and running our military, and these are the things that they believe. So Larson spoke with MRFF president and founder Mikey Weinstein about the report, and this is what Weinstein had to say. He said, these calls have one damn thing in freaking common. Our MRFF clients, service members who seek MRFF aid, report the unrestricted euphoria of their commanders and command chains as to how this new biblically sanctioned war is clearly the undeniable sign of the expeditious approach of the fundamentalist Christian end times as vividly described in the New Testament book of Revelation. Many of their commanders are especially delighted with how graphic this battle will be, zeroing in on how bloody all of this must become in order to fulfill and be in 100% accordance with fundamentalist Christian end of word eschatology, and that is, the end of worldness. That is terrifying that they seem to be giddy about everything that's happening now. It seems as though they're finally able to usher in this end of world, and so they can be raptured and go up to heaven. And of course, all of this violates the Constitution, which they don't seem worried about because the Constitution is very worldly and earthbound. And it also violates the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Weinstein had some choice words for the military members speaking this way to their subordinates, saying that they will be swiftly, aggressively, and visibly prosecuted. However, this is not the first time that talk like this was within our military in some capacity.
All right, so me end it this. But may I tell you, say, this is coming from the highest level of the American government, This is not some people on the road. I said that, This is man we're in the Pentagon. We're supposed to control the army. The American army, them say the most powerful army in the world. This is what them pushing on the soldier them. That the army supposed to recognize Donald Trump sent by God to usher in the coming of Jesus Christ for earth through the war that them now taking place in, and also that we must back and defend Israel. That is where there, people. That is where there. And we have to recognize that is where there. Because believe you me, them people is so religious, fanatic. You talk about Islam fanatic. These people is fanatics, religious fanatics. And the problem with it, the problem with it is that you have preachers in Jamaica. We have pushed the line there. Yeah, you have preachers, we have tell them congregation on Sunday that Jerusalem is where Jesus Christ is going to rise up. And we must recognize that the Jews is the children of God. If the Jews is the children of God in Jerusalem, what are we? What are we? These little black people don't answer. What is it that bind us to what them saying we over the other part of the world? And how we must now recognize the President of America as the leader for this soldiers of God army. Because all of the war them where them are going to claim now say America involved in that is for ushering the coming of Jesus Christ. I hear them say it's the commanders them tell that, except, it's the commanders I say that, the commanders them in the army I say that to the army. Wow, I don't know. I really don't know what is going to happen, but it not look nice at all. It not look nice. If you think them people there a joke, watch how them a drop bomb. Watch how them a drop bomb left and right and a blow up ship and a prevent this from entering here or there. And you hear them say, you think it's Iran them are going to stop? the man them have them eye on Cuba. Cuba, which part of Cuba there? From the lighthouse in Negril to Cuba is 90 miles. 90. It's Jamaica. I wonder if we take stock away are going. How we fit in that? How we fit in them thing there? Are we having a space? We having a space? Might be not. Maybe the pastor them will preach this in the church can tell me how them are going to rectify this situation when the reality catch them in the church. I tell black people, say, I say in Jerusalem, Jesus Christ are going to rise up, and it's the Jews, it's the chosen. In the last part of the Bible, it say 12,000 from each tribe, 144,000. 12,000 from each tribe, or 12 tribes of Israel them have. Oh, no fit in it. That me want to find out. Oh, uno. I mean I say uno. Oh, uno fit in that. I talk to the pastor them in Jamaica. We have preached this madness to black people. Oh, uno fit in it. All the things them we have pray and pray. Is Donald Trump hearing the prayers of the lost souls of Jamaica or Trinidad or Barbados? The 12 tribes of Israel, them say is the Jews. Yes, in the Bible I tell you say, is the Jews give up Christ, Jesus Christ, to be crucified according to the Bible. Pontius Pilate, the Jews give him up to be crucified. And now we hear black people who feel the pangs of slavery, where your ancestors died because of that preaching, that teaching. Because up to now, even though them claim say, I know them, I talk about the white people them now, do it. And why we are worried about it, because we know in no slavery. We know in no slavery. You better think again. If you know in no slavery, you're all right. But the majority of people in Jamaica still can't find which part them next meal come from. Them have to go hustle, you hear it call? Them not go work, them go hustle. Anyway, them have to find it. And now we see this thing come up and we know. What is your status in this Armageddon? Because we hear some people about Armageddon like them things say is a nice thing. The people them might try usher it in. Because it's in the Bible, Revelation, them are usher in the Armageddon, them are force the Armageddon, them are create the Armageddon to say yes, the Bible are fulfilled. The Bible are fulfilled because them read that and I preempt something to the people them now to say, watch out, stand up straight and watch what them do to Israel. We want to defend Israel because that is where Jesus Christ are going to come up back. Yes. Terrible thing. What are you going to do? I have to say, oh no. Because I know what I going to do. I know what I do. Yes. Going to church every Sunday not going to help you. Listen to the pastor and I tell you about Israel is God's chosen people and you're not involved in Israel. You're not involved in Israel and you say Israel is a chosen people. Then if Israel is a chosen people, how you fit in that? Because you're not TikTok. When you hear Rasta say them are Israelite, you have some Rasta will say Ethiopians, Jews, which you have Ethiopian Jews, but them not fit in that. The original so-called Jews, them not fit in where them are say in a Palestine, in a Israel. We want to play the name the first. We are going to play the thing with play it.
Last but not least, it would be remiss of me not to mention the present crisis in the Middle East and its potential effects on Jamaica's fuel economy, international oil prices, which have increased in recent weeks due to the geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. However, it is important to understand that crude oil and finished petroleum products are traded in separate markets, and movement in crude oil prices do not automatically or proportionally translate into local pump prices. The pricing mechanism used by Petrojam also helps to mitigate full exposure to sudden price shocks. The extent of any local impact will depend on how sustained these international price movements are. Petrojam continues to monitor closely changes in the U.S. Gulf Coast reference for finished petroleum products, which serve as a primary pricing benchmark for the region and determines Petrojam's ex-refinery prices. Based on early analysis of the USGC reference, fuel prices have been trending upward in an apparent response to the current U.S.-Iran tensions. We will continue to assess developments carefully and keep the public advised and informed. Jamaica's recovery and energy progress is a testament to what can be achieved when commitment meets coordinated action, from restoring electricity and modernizing our networks to advancing offshore energy research. The government remains steadfast in delivering results for the people while we are building a more resilient, connected, and future-ready Jamaica. I thank you very much, and I think that today is a very good day for the people of Jamaica and Jamaica, the land we love. God bless Jamaica.
Yes. So we want to talk to Mr. Elan Parkinson, Communication Manager for Petrojam. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Yes, okay. So we understand what is taking place in the Middle East.
Yeah, man.
And the effect that it's supposed to have and everywhere where gas price and everything.
Right.
How long it going to take for that to really become a reality in our part of the world in terms of the rising cost of fuel? Because we hear that happen every Thursday. It like go down or go up, go down or go up every Thursday. So what will make a difference when we hear the price? Because obviously we're talking about a go up price. What will happen? Or when we expect it to happen?
But price increases, yes, to various classes of fuels, primarily because of what's taking place on the global market and more precisely regionally in terms of movements in the cost of finished goods. Now, one of the things I must establish is that you have two markets operating here. There's a crude oil market. You know, crude oil is, as the name suggests, the raw material. And then there's the finished products market, the 87, 90, diesel, and so on, LPG, gas, and all of that. And so both markets act independent of each other. Think of it like this. It's like flour as opposed to the people who bake bread. They operate in different markets, even though the people who bake bread depend on flour. Okay? So the fact of the price of flour going up doesn't necessarily mean that you'll pay more for bread, because the people who bake bread may very well have had price decreases in other inputs, and therefore they say, you know what, even though the price of flour has gone up, overall, we can manage, so we won't increase the cost of bread. It's a similar thing when it comes on to crude oil versus the finished product, right? So even if you see crude oil prices going up on the global market by, say, 10%, it doesn't mean that finished products, 87, 90, diesel, and so on, will also go up by 10%. because the finished products market operates on a different scale, so to speak, meaning that there are no new variables that you have to consider. You're talking about refining capacity, how much of that is available, where is the finished product for us to import it, and several other terms and conditions, including what they call ocean loss, which is, has to do with, the natural loss of products to evaporation and so on. So all of those variables are considered in determining the final price in Jamaica or anywhere else in the region. But we benchmark that against one standard, and that is the U.S. Gulf reference price. You just mentioned it a moment ago. And the U.S. Gulf reference price assists countries within the region with pricing their petroleum products in such a way that it is always connected to the true market value.
So the market value is determined by America?
No, it's not America per se. I think we use the U.S. Gulf reference price primarily because if you understand that area right there, that Gulf area in the United States between there and Mexico, you'll appreciate that a lot of oil refining takes place in that space. Houston, Texas, all of those areas right out there. And of course, Mexico is part of oil refining as well. So because it's the closest and largest area where oil refining takes place, to the point where they have developed models for determining the price, it makes sense for us to follow that model.
So you're saying that we are getting the finished product from Mexico, or
No. We're not getting the finished products from. I didn't say Mexico. I'm saying Mexico is involved. I'm just saying that I'm just using them as major players in the area, right?
So we are getting the finished product from.
So we get finished products from the United States. We can get it from other markets as well. It just depends on price. Of course, we're always looking for competitive prices. But then we also purchase crude oil, which we refine. So if we refine crude oil, then we don't need to buy as much finished products.
And that's why Petrojam low.
We get crude oil from Ecuador and Brazil.
All right. No, what I'm trying to find out, you see, the gas that we're going to put in the tank, we're putting it every week. Where is that gas coming from?
It's refined. Most of it is refined right here in Jamaica at Petrojam.
The finished product?
Yeah, man.
All right. So the outreach we know is through, you say, Mexico or America or Ecuador. That's what you're saying? No. So finished products would likely come from that Gulf area in the United States. Yes. Crude oil, which is the crude product, the raw material, comes from Ecuador and Brazil. Yeah, well, we don't want to concern ourselves with the crude oil. We want to concern ourselves with the finish where we put in our tank.
Yeah, man, and I'm saying we also manufacture finished products here, because if we import the crude oil, remember now we have a refinery, so that is the feedstock for the refinery. And
that's
what comes out of it is diesel and 87 and 90 and so on.
Yeah.
Right. So
that is what I ask. Which part of the finished product there? It's in Jamaica also.
Yes, man.
All right. So if the finished product is in Jamaica, sometime, what is the fear now of high price because of that war that taking place, or because of what? What is it that we must be scared of?
Well, I wouldn't say scared. I'd more say be prepared, right? Oil prices go up, they come down. You'll recall, you remember during COVID when oil prices hit it hit negative territory.
Yes.
Right? Meaning you'd have to pay somebody to take the oil from you instead of somebody paying you to take the oil from you. Right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So oil, the oil market, it responds to several geopolitical shocks and economic shocks too, as COVID had brought on, because there was a general slowdown in global economic activity. When that happens, it means, well, you need less oil because people aren't driving as much to work and all of that.
Yeah. So you see that,
oil was just not the fashionable thing, and the price went down. And so Jamaican consumers saw the dip in the price of finished goods because, of course, the input cost of the crude oil would have gone down. But like I said, it's not just about the input cost of the crude oil. It's several other factors, freight, insurance.
Yes.
What's a charge called demurrage, which has to do with how long ships stay in port to offload the goods, and ocean loss, evaporation, all of that.
Yes. So are we anticipating that because of what is happening in the Gulf there in the Middle East, that there will be a serious raising of price on the commodity that we put in our car? We just see how it go.
No, I think Jamaicans almost naturally would have by now come to understand that whenever we have these conflicts, these issues taking place in the global market, especially when they are directly associated with the oil and gas sector, then they should look out for price changes. I mentioned COVID-19 when the prices went down, and we saw prices trending downwards in Jamaica as well. Now we're in a situation where the world is uncertain and prices are going up. And that was reflected yesterday in terms of our ex-refinery prices for the 8790 and so on. We'll continue to monitor the market conditions. As you are aware, Jamaica is an oil importing country, 100%. And as a result, we are subject to these changes in the marketplace.
All right. So if the price is immediately in effect, I mean, you're saying that given of what is taking place now, there is a rise in the price.
Right.
So the oil that is coming from wheresoever it coming is affected by what is happening now so quick?
Yes. Remember, when you look at prices, right, it's a Gulf reference price, right? So if the price of oil, okay, let me give you a scenario. If the price of oil is, say, $100 today, okay, and we buy at $100, and the price of oil goes down to $80 next week, right? And that affects the price of finished goods as well, the finished goods price going down. We have to reflect a downward trend, even though we bought at a higher price. All right? So I see what you're getting at, and it's usually something that...
I know you know me I get at, I know you know me I get at, right? But you're not answer me how you're supposed to answer me.
But that's how the market operates, right? And that is why within our pricing mechanism, right, we have certain protections for the Jamaican consumer so that not everything is passed on to the public.
To the consumer.
Right? Yeah, exactly. We couldn't, because like I indicated, when you have these massive swings, right, it nowhere in the world is it passed on in such a way. Because if you notice in the United States, mainly, and I use the U.S. mainly because a lot of us watch much of the news out of there. Whenever prices are going up, they don't go up sharply. So even if the price of oil again, the crude oil is refined into finished products, and that pricing mechanism is different from the crude oil pricing mechanism. But even at that range, at that level, rather, there is a range within which the additional cost of the finished product is passed on to the consumer, right? So at some points in time, persons who are selling the fuel, they can end up in a loss position, or they can end up in a profit position because of the way the market operates.
So for instance, every Thursday you hear of a price increase or a price decrease on certain oil or whatsoever. What is causing that? When is the oil is coming from so far and the oil don't change, the price of the oil don't change from the sea when it a come. You buy it at one price already and it come into Jamaica. But every Thursday them have an announcement to say this gas gone up to how much percent, that one gone down to how much. Was the same gas, the oil come direct straight up as so. How the price change
because
in a mid-year, in a mid-waters.
It's a market. It's a market, right? And you always have to be referencing with a market. That's why it's called the U.S. Gulf reference. In further afield in North America, Europe, they use what they call the Brent. There's a Brent reference system there, just the same, right? In other words, what is the market asking for? 90, 87? We're talking finished goods now. Diesel, ultra low sulfur, automotive diesel, LPG, gas, butane, propane, all of that. As of today, what is the market asking for? Right? No. Like I indicated, last week the market could be asking for a higher price. This week the market is asking for a lower price.
Lower price.
We have to pass on that lower price, even though we may have bought it last week at a higher price.
Yeah, but how long the gas take? How long the oil takes from where it's coming from to Jamaica?
You're talking about utilization. You're talking about moving the goods from here to there and all of that. No, it's the value of it at any given time.
So the value of it don't decide where you buy it. The value of it is that if you have 2 days to reach.
The price of it is there. So don't confuse price with value. So the price of it is is what you bought it for. But I'm saying the value could have gone down since you bought it. It's like buying US dollars, for example, right? Let's say you buy $100 US last week for 150 to 1. Okay?
Yeah.
But then this week, when you have that same $100 US in your hand, it's now valued at 145 to 1. You essentially have 14,500 Jamaican dollars in your hand as opposed to $15,000 last week. Same US dollar. It's the same money. You see what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, we're going to see what will happen because obviously the war going to escalate unless oil come around this area. I don't know if you take oil from Guyana or you say Mexico, round away there, America. I don't know.
We take crude oil from Ecuador and Brazil.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, give thanks for the input.
Yeah, man. Good talking with you.
Yes.
Good talking with you, and all the best to yourself.
All right, sir. That's Ian Parkinson, communications manager for Petrojam. I try to shine some light on things I never understand. I don't understand it. I mean, I hear him say it still, and I have to go sit down and sieve through my brains with what him say, you know. But I understand about the dollar thing, you know. You buy the dollar today, and tomorrow you have it at your yard, and tomorrow you say 10 cents gone up on it, and the same dollar where they buy for less, 10 cents less, you know. So that's the way of how the world run. And we have to just recognize that a earth, I can't say a earth with a pan. Okay, so a stepping razor with a pan, and we are stand by for the People's Court. Here's history. But most of them come from Europe. It's Europeans who find a way into that part of the world we call Palestine. Claim it as a biblical thing, very serious thing. Okay, so People's Court time. I can see where I'm going now. So, anybody up on the line?
Yes, I'm here, Munka. How are you? Good afternoon.
Just a come out interview, yeah. I never know he was on the line. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, man. Good afternoon to you too.
I am so feeling good that you decided that we should bring you back here and continue the journey that we started last week. It was wonderful that you actually.
Clifton couldn't be here with me, but Jacqueline Cummins, my business partner, Archer coming is going to join me because I think we both will bring clarity to some areas that I think some real questions that you asked, probing questions you asked the last time. And Muta, after your call, I just want to say the response from your listeners was really overwhelming. I saw a client today from that program. And
come again. So what you say again? After doing the program, what happened?
The response was overwhelming. I mean, we've gotten so many calls about this issue of people having issues with, getting their land title, adverse possessing, first registration of family land. And the other issue that came up a lot was about having a will. Should they have a will for unregistered land? I mean, I realize there's so much, I won't say ignorance, but, we don't know what the law is. We don't know what we should be doing.
Ignorance. It's ignorance of the law.
Right, ignorance of the law. That the fact is that if you have family land, whether the title is registered or unregistered, you should still have a will.
Yes.
It doesn't in any way affect your ability to still have that property mentioned in your will. So that is one of the issues. One of the things I wanted to continue in today's program is to,
all right.
when you own land,
that
came up from that program, so I'll just segue into that. Whether or not you should do a will. And yes, you should do a will even if you own unregistered land.
Okay. All right,
it can be mentioned in a will and it can be left to another generation. The fact that you don't have a title is something we should work on and have you regularized. However, it does not negate you having a will that mentions that land and who should get that land in your will.
All right, so how you get a will? Tell me. I mean, what do you do to legitimize a will?
Good afternoon, Musa. Good afternoon to your listeners. This is Jacqueline Cummings. A will is a simple document that you write, and in that document, you must state who you want to be in charge of your estate. That means your property, your money, when you die, and that person who's in charge will then apply to the court for what is called probate. And based on that probate, as is issued by the court, the documents that you have for your title, your bank account, your life insurance, your motor vehicle will be then transferred to the person who will leave in the will as your beneficiary. So that simple document, it can be 1 page, 2 pages, it can be 400 pages. Simply stating, I'm leaving John Brown in charge, and I'm leaving my house to Mary, my car to John, my bank account to Steve, and everything else I have in life, I'm leaving it to Elizabeth. And you sign it. What makes it valid is that must be signed in the presence of two persons who must also sign it. So a simple document stating who you're leaving in charge, who you're giving each one of the properties to, and it must be signed by you and witnessed by two persons who must also sign it. So you either go to
and it can be any two persons. It can be any two persons.
Correct. Any two persons who are not going to be benefited from the will. So if you're giving your son something, your son can't witness the will. If you're giving your neighbor something, your neighbor can't witness the will. So anybody who you're giving a gift to in the will can't be the witness. Has to be somebody different.
Okay.
They can be the beneficiary, though. They cannot witness you signing the will. And Muta, the other thing about that we must raise is this issue of updating wills. A marriage on every a will should be updated if for special life events, and these life events are marriage, divorce, birth of a child, or major changes in asset, or the death of an executor. If you have a sole executor and the executor has died, you need to update your will. Those are the events that should trigger you updating your will. Marriage,
All right, so
divorce, birth of a child, and any major changes of assets or death of an executor.
Yeah, by the way, question. Can you, all right, if you have a child, and it's you is the parent of the child, and you feel like you're dead, you sign a will saying that this child must be given to A, B, C, D, or L, and you put it in the will. Can that work with a living person?
Yes, that's called guardianship.
Yeah.
So what you do in your will, in the case of my demise, I want my child to be raised by my sister or my grandmother or whatever parent that you wish to have it. That's what is called guardianship. So if you have your will and you have a young child and you wish to put in your will who is to look after this child when your eyes are closed, that's what you put in your will. I would like John Brown or Mary Stoke or whoever you wish to name as the person to be the guardian of your child until they become an adult.
All right, tell me what is some of the problems that Jamaican people have? Why it creates such a problem with wills and not having will? What is it that is causing people to
superstition? Let me hold on, Jackie. Superstition, Muta. We somehow many a times I've heard clients say, do the will for me, and they'll tell me what they want, who to get what asset. We'll do it up, and they don't come and sign. One person told me that I hear if you after you sign your will, you will die. No, you won't die. My clients are not dying. Okay, that's number one. So it's a superstitious thing that you kind of bringing on death on yourself.
Get yourself, yeah. I guess most of you can feel that way still.
And know that you won't be doing that. And the option that the will is the only instrument you can have that I can give a total stranger on the road my entire asset. You can't dispossess a child if you die in intestate. If you should desire to dispossess a child because you gave them so much during your lifetime and you want to give it to somebody else, you have to do a will.
So that is contention if the child did there and you go give somebody where him no know.
Here's how to get around that problem, Muta. When you make a will, you want to make the world know that you are conscious in your decision. So if I want to leave my entire asset and all of my property to Father Holong and Missionaries of the Poor, I just simply leave my will. I leave $1 for my child. So the court and anyone really will know that I have considered that I have a child. I have decided to leave $1 for that child, but I want all of what else I own, what goes to Father Holong and Missionaries of the Poor. So it suggests that I have not lost my mind in making my will. I was very conscious and deliberate in making it, and I am accountable to the child in the will by saying, I'm giving that child $1, and I'm giving all the rest of my assets to Father Holong and Missionaries of the Poor. That's how you do it, to make it not contentious.
Yeah. All right. I have heard of situations and read of situations where rich people, especially rich people, rich old women who have cat and dog and things, sign over them house to the dog and the cat. How that work?
Not here. That's in over the waters where they're not so right. We don't have those issues of leaving the cat.
Where's that? That happen, man?
No, not in this jurisdiction. I've not seen it in my 30 plus years.
You mean not in Jamaica?
No, but that's elsewhere over the waters.
No, that may I say. It happened not here, it happened over there. So it couldn't happen over here then.
So
that's what I say.
I've heard of that. I've never seen it, but it can happen. I guess they want to care for the cat and the dog after their demise, and there's organization in place for you to leave the money to for the cat and dog to be taken care of, and will be whatever. Won't have to worry about the grooming expense of the dog and boarding and all of that. So yes, in those parts
the caretaker might just kill the cat and they get the money.
No, let's not kill the cat or the dog.
No, I just say the possibility arise where after you look at $12 million, if you go to a cat, what the hell a cat are going to do with $12 million? And use a caretaker for the cat. And you know, so well, are you and the cat there, just poison him and get the money.
Oh, dear Lord.
No, it's things, hey, watch out, these things. These things happen in America and in Europe,
But I also want to say is that when you don't do a will, what you do is now leave the distribution of your assets up to the laws of intestacy. And that may not be how you want your asset distributed. Meaning, the laws of intestacy in Jamaica provides first to spouse. So if you die leaving a spouse, the spouse would be entitled to a particular benefit. If you die leaving spouse and children, it's 50 to spouse and 50 to children. And if you die leaving no spouse, just children, it will all go to the children. If you die leaving no spouse, no children, it will go to the parents. If you die leaving no spouse, no children, no parents, siblings, go to the siblings. So that is the order of it. And you may, especially for people who have no children, I always say do a will. You have assets, do a will. That's the only way you can inherit a total stranger, or a loss of intestacy won't protect you. Certainly won't let your assets be distributed as how you intended.
All right.
One thing I must say to you, Muta, and to your listeners, if you die without a will and you have a small child, then the Administrative General Department of Jamaica is responsible for your estate. So if you have a child at 6 or 7 or 8 or any age between 0 to 17 years and 11 and a half months old, that child has to be looked after by the government department called Administrative General Department, and they're responsible for looking after that estate. The danger you do when you do that is if you're a businessman, you're in a supermarket, and you die suddenly in a motor vehicle accident, who is going to go into that supermarket and run a supermarket to maintain your child in the meantime? Those are the considerations that you need to think about when you are operating in terms of a business or you are living your life. You need to make sure you have provisions in place.
Yeah.
For example,
so if you have two children,
everybody who becomes a member of the Jamaica Defense Force, it's a requirement. The moment you become a member of the Army in Jamaica, you must make a will. Whether you own $1 or you own nothing, you must make a will because you are a military.
I never know that.
Work as book at any point in time, and that's a requirement. So people are encouraged, and I would encourage all of your listeners. Don't wait until you buy a car or buy a house or have a bank account to make a will. But you have children, you're an adult, especially even if you don't have children, write something down on a piece of paper, signed by 2 witnesses with someone in charge who will look after things for you when you close your eyes, because you don't know when it is you're going to be called upon to go up yonder.
Yeah. But suppose you have two or three children and you never make a will and you're dead, and you have millions of dollars in the bank. How will that work out? It
stays there until the Administrative General Department administers that estate, and the poor baby mother will have to find school fees in the meantime until that stage comes, because that can take up to 6 months. I've had a case where a youngster had to jump out of school because it took too long to sell his father's apartment building so his mother can get the money to let him finish school.
Yeah.
So these things you have to consider as an adult. Not just the men alone, women as well. Don't think that you're going to suddenly have a demise because you make a will. Make a will because it's a big decision. It is as essential as having a bank account. It's as essential as having a TRN number. It's as essential as having a form of identification.
Okay.
Let's know to ourselves. A will is an essential document every adult Jamaican must and should have.
All right, we'll take a break and come forward. We'll take a break. Yeah. We're going to give you the numbers that in case you want to call, you can call. The number for Deborah Archer is 876-906-1065. 876-906-1600. That's 876-906-1600. And the next the next number we have here is Miss Conan, which part is the number there? Jacqueline Cummins. Jacqueline Cummins. You know, we never introduce her. The former president of Jambar, admitted to the bar in Jamaica and Guyana. Litigator and attorney with over 30 years experience. And that number is 876-906-1600. Isn't that the same number?
And or 876-341-6628.
Say that again?
876-341-6628.
Okay. So that's the two numbers. If when this program done or tomorrow or whenever, you jump out of your sleep and say you have to do this thing because you feel a pain in your belly, you can call them and say, hopefully really figure it out.
So the other question that came up a lot from your listeners is encroachment. And, can you encroach on unregistered land, and can you, what happens? So yes, if I fence in a portion of your premises and you do nothing, you say nothing, you can simply adversely possess that portion of land also.
Okay.
After 12 years, of course, we have a 12-year limitation of action, a number that we have to live with, the 12 years. So you can fence it in today and try and get the title tomorrow. You have to prove that you have been in possession of the land for over 12 years. We told you that possession is critical to adverse possession.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So after 12 years, you can claim it.
Yes.
Okay.
And the adjoining owner has lost it. If they've done nothing, if I was putting up a fence and they did nothing and did not have it surveyed or thought to get a surveyor to make sure the pegs are properly pegged and followed.
Yeah.
Portion of your land. In one instance, it was about 1.5 acres, and they fenced it in. It becomes part of their property too.
Property.
Yes, because it was way over the 12 years.
That's very interesting because a whole heap of people have them fence encroaching upon somebody else's land. And them they have more than 12 years. Hello?
Yeah, good evening. I wanted to participate now.
Yeah, okay. I want to can hear you. Talk now.
Oh, I go on, Mr. Mota.
Miss Cummins up on the line still?
Yeah, man. She make 2 points. I wanted to...
No, wait, no, me ask if she and them up on the line still?
We're here. I'm here.
Okay. All right, a question. So one of the listeners want to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Good evening, yeah, Ms. Cummins. I wanted to know about adverse possession of property, and I also wanted to know, you speak on matters concerning will. I wanted to know if when someone married after making a will, if it is that the will had cancelled.
Yes. Yes, the will is invalid once you get married after
to make another will.
If you get married after you make the will is invalid. You have to make another will once you get married.
Oh, so you should have explained that at first instance. You can't just explain to make a will at any given time. You can explain to when you make a will and then your marriage, the will has been cancelled. Another thing, you speak about adverse possession of property. How someone claims adverse possession of property, and what are the channels that will go through to have an adverse possession of property?
All right, you must first be in possession of the land. It must be open and notorious, meaning you must fence it, you must do something positive to show your possession. You must also be paying the taxes that for the requisite land. And then after that, you can start, after 12 years of being in that possession, open and undisturbed, you can now make an application.
So, in order to pay the property tax, do you have to have a splintered title for the 1,500 acre that you have, or you'll pay for the 1,500 acre. You have to have a splinter title. You have to get a survey, then you administer on the property. Is that how it go, or you just pay for the whole 1,500 acre?
So in some instances, we've seen people pay for the whole 1,500 acre. In other instances, you can do a pre-check diagram for your area and get a valuation number for that area and pay the taxes for your pre-check plan.
So in spite of paying the tax now, remember we have 1,500 acres. You are now on the property squatting for 13 years. You wanted to pay for the 1 acre that you have. How you go again? You go and do a survey diagram and also a valuation report, or how you do it? Let me understand, please.
You're going to do a plan. You're going to retain a surveyor to do what's called a pre-check plan for your 1 acre.
Yes.
That one pre-check plan for 1 acre, you can bring the application because you have already been in possession, you said, for 13 years.
Yeah.
Okay, but not paying the taxes.
Okay, because it doesn't have a diagram to pay the tax from.
Okay, so get the diagram and then go to Arden Road at National Land Agency and get it on the valuation roll.
So how does someone makes a claim that you hasn't been dispossessed them of the property?
How they make a claim in court?
Yeah, to say that you hasn't been dispossessed them of the property because you are now claiming adverse possession. There are no counterclaims in you not to say that you hasn't been dispossessed them of the property.
Once the title has been issued, the claim would have to be a court claim, Supreme Court usually, to say that the adverse possessor did not meet the requirement to dispossess them.
So in other words,
it's a court claim, sir. It must be done in court.
So in other words, there's a claim and counterclaims.
Correct. Yeah. And it comes down to the facts. So I just have to determine whether or not which one of the two of you are telling the truth. You are not on the land or are you on the land? Are you paying the taxes or are you not paying the taxes? Have you dispossessed the owner or have you not dispossessed the owner? So the jury listens to all the evidence from your witnesses and their witnesses and determine which is the correct position.
Okay. So do you know that many persons have been dispossessed of generational land through the provision called adverse possession of property? Because I know that I come back to the land every 5 years and clean it up. But in spite of that, one of the 5 years I've never been back around and you are now building a structure on the property. The structure is a 2-story house and you hasn't been in the possession of it for 11 and a half years, going 12 years now, and you are now claiming possession that you were there 2 years before the date considered a 12-year period.
Like I said, we're well aware that there are claims of adverse possession that are challenged and are successfully challenged, yes. And many people, what they say they claim is to dispossess may not always add up.
All right, thanks very much. And that was quite comfortable speaking to you. And thanks very much. Yes, Mr. Muta.
Yeah, man, give thanks, Bridget. Give thanks.
Good work what you always do.
All right, sir.
All right, thanks for your listener.
All right, so we have to wrap up. We have to wrap up now. And as usual, we want to give thanks. And you came 2 weeks, so that's saying a lot for the program, and we hope we can call on you again and again and again if you so desire. We're not going to say no because it's a liar program this, so we want to say give thanks, really and truly give thanks for your contribution to this part of the program and to bring guests. You also bring guests too. Yeah. Miss Cummins dropped too? Okay, she never hear me, I say. Okay. No, I was just giving thanks to them and really appreciate them input. Jacqueline Cummins and Deborah Archer. And we hope that we can call back if we need to. Even if you want to, you know, you can suggest something that you feel say Jamaicans have a problem with as it relates to law. Any problem as it relates to law, and you can really give an input in it. We really appreciate the input. I would say give thanks. Hope you can hear me. Give thanks. That was the People's Court, you know, and the lady said she has been getting a lot of calls. That is beautiful. That's beautiful. We're going to give our number again. The first lawyer is Deborah Archer. It's 876-906-1600. And we have a shared number with this number here. It's 876-349-0302. 876-349-0302 and 876-341-6628. So that's 876-341-6628. We give thanks to the moment, People's Court. So now we'll go into the music news. Yes, that's time again. When we present the African names, we're going to start with the female names. Ayana, Ayana, A-Y-A-N-N-A. Ayana means she is a beautiful flower. She is a beautiful flower. Akima, Akima, H-A-K-I-M-A. Akima means sensible. Sensible. Akima. All right. Next one is Anifi. Anifi. H-A-N-I-F-I. Anifi means pure. Pure. Asanati. Asanati. H-A-S-A-N-A-T-I. Asanati means good. So that's Ayana. A-Y-A-N-N-A means she is a beautiful flower. Akima, H-A-K-I-M-A. Akima means sensible. Anifi, Anifi, H-A-N-I-F-I. Anifi means pure. And Asanati, H-A-S-A-N-A-T-I. Asanati means good. Male names. Easy, Easy. E-Z-E. Easy means king. Easy means king. Fidela. Fidela. F-I-D-E-L-A. Fidela. Fidela means faithful. Akena. Ikena. Ikena. I-K-E-N-N-A. Ikena means father. Yes, father. And Jabulani. J-A-B-U-L-A-N-I. Jabulani means be happy. So that's easy. E-Z-E means king. Fidela or Fidela. F-I-D-E-L-A. Fidela means faithful. Akenan. Akenan. I-K-E-N-N-A. Akenan means father. And Jabulani. J-A-B-U-L-A-N-I. Jabulani means be happy. African names. There with you, Akocho. You know, let me tell you about China. China. You know, the president of China declared extreme poverty. All right, because being in people. It might eliminate extreme poverty in China. That means, and I hear him this one at the time say, China going to have the most millionaires. This is a communist country. I can't hear them say. I talk about millionaires and get rid of poverty. Extreme poverty. Getting rid of extreme poverty. How much country can say that? How much country can say that? You know, them I say if you go through the airport and you have what them call it, green card, and you stay out of the country for 6 months, them will take it away from you. All who they are Jamaica say them a look about this and a look about that and can't get to look about it and still there. Them going to take away your green card when you go through the airport. In America, that is. So, you know, that is part of the thing, you know. Well, them a try everything. They will try everything. I don't know what's going on. Why that brother they dangerous. That's all I can say. Dangerous, man. Okay, so here we go now. We'll have something else to tell you about, you know, right there. Paper and top of paper and top of paper. We want to find out about this little girl or this little youth where the woman drowned. That terrible thing that I guess she not to write it. Well, obviously she can't to write it. Yes, she drowned the picnic. Just like that. And what like nothing happen. I don't know how these things just happen so. Some unusual things start happening in Jamaica, you know. And when if it's the food that catch up away. Yeah, the food where we eat. Start to have certain, you have some food where I come at Jamaica, you know, where they pan it, or where them used to plant it, is banned in other countries, you know. Yeah. Them ban these things, certain chemical, where them used to plant the thing, plant the food. In America, it get banned. But this government can look about them something there. Anything can come in the country and go in your shop or your supermarket. Nobody cares. You eat it, you feel sick, you go to the doctor, him give you a tablet and say, go home, go sleep. You go home, go sleep, you wake up, you feel sick still. Who is caring for the people? We have a Minister of Health and Wellness. Health and Wellness. I hear them say them will charge more GCT on sugar food, sugar drinks. Sugar drinks, yes. So a whole heap of juice out there now. I know some juice and I call them name, but you have some juice out there in the supermarket you don't have no sugar in it. Even though it's concentrated, but it don't have no sugar in it. So maybe the people them should have started to read the label. Black people don't read the label, you know. No, them, anything where they want them take it up off of the shelf and throw in a basket and go to the cashier. They don't read the label to see how much things in it. Because as a matter of fact, most of the things that we them put in these food, you know, the normal Jamaican can't read it, don't know what name so, where it come from, what it is all about. Now, if you can't read the label, and you can't read the ingredients, put it down. Put it down and go find something else. I hear people are complaining, say, boy, I don't want them, the food them are healthy for you too expensive. But I want to tell you, say, when you get sick, the doctor and the pharmacist more expensive. And you know, say prevent is better than to cure. Prevent is better than to cure. Because right now you might say, you pay, you used to buy this $100 or $200, now you pay $500 feet. I say, why too expensive? But the one will cost $200. When you go to your yard and you start to deal with food and eat it, and your belly start to hurt, you try to figure out this war. Yeah, you try to figure out this war. And when you go to the doctor say, why you just eat? And you tell him. Him say, okay, I'm going to give you some tablet here to go to the pharmacy. Because he might charge you differently from the pharmacy. And you go to the pharmacy and the pharmacist give away supposed to say, But the label say take 2 times a day. Every 12 hours, take 2 times. And you go home and you take it. And about 2 days after your belly start hurt you again. And yes, one day we are going now. But you're not going to know. Because he might look on the symptoms, he might look on the cure. Most doctors, they don't cure things. They look on the symptoms. You have doctors who cure things, you know, and you don't come back. But doctors mostly look at your symptom and deal with the symptoms rather than the cure. And you can't get to it now, you know. For you not plant your own food, you can't get to it. You must buy something out there where have some things in the way you're not supposed to have. Whether your food that come from St. Elizabeth or Hanover or Portland, the farmer them is not securing your health. He must secure him wealth. And the thing will make the food come up fast. If him go and market with it, is that him will put on the food. And the government seems to not have no regulation on what the farmer use. Or them not showing the farmer how to use these chemicals that are coming out of the country. It's a terrible thing. Who is looking out for the interests of the people them who is consuming all these food with poison on it? Who? Them not doing what them supposed to do. Yeah, them quick money, fast money. And people want to have big crop, yield big crop. People say, boy, right now, look how my body. Hey, let me see a cabbage, man. Me I tell you, man. Bigger than my head. I say, what is all that cabbage I see so? The weirdest part I know is that you go a certain part of Africa and the food them so big. And them people, when you start telling them about this and it, they don't know nothing about them chemical there, you know. Nothing them don't know about it. When you put all them pumpkin, all them pineapple, oh gosh, man. The pineapple big like what? Tastes different. Them don't know nothing about what I say. So tell me something, where you put in the ground? They must say, put in the ground. Where we supposed to put in the ground? We don't know put in the ground. The ground not there already. I saw nature run the thing. But you see, in this part of the world now, quick crop. You have to make the food come up quick that you can go sell it. And people buy it at the market, and you go buy it at the market. And then you start to get sick. Sickness is inevitable. But sometimes you bring down the sickness by yourself by not avoiding certain things. And we have to learn now to avoid certain things. Yes, because right now, nobody's caring for you if you're not caring for yourself. That is what you have to deal with. Nobody's caring for you if you're not caring for yourself. Here we go. Here we go. We want to go in at this song, you know, before the day done. Yeah. I tell you. All right.
And now the details. The Jamaican government is discontinuing the current arrangement concerning the deployment of medical professionals in the public health sector by Cuba. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs made the announcement today. It said both governments were unable to agree on the terms and conditions of a new technical cooperation agreement following the expiration of the previous agreement in February 2023. The ministry said in the interest of continuity of the valuable service provided by the Cuban medical professionals, professionals in the country and for their personal certainty and well-being, the government has indicated its willingness for the Ministry of Health and Wellness to engage these medical professionals on an individual basis in keeping with local labor laws. It noted that this arrangement would last for the remainder of their scheduled tenure in Jamaica under the program. The ministry pointed out that Cuban medical professionals have been serving in various public health facilities across the island, and Jamaicans have benefited notably from the eye care program as well as the general care by nurses and doctors. The government said it expressed sincere appreciation to Cuba for its significant contribution to the health sector in Jamaica. Jamaica's sole oil refinery and primary fuel source Petrojam says it is aware of public concerns about how the U.S.-Israel-Iran conflict will affect local fuel prices and continues to monitor international developments. In a statement, it said the published ex-refining prices for petroleum products effective today, March 5, reflected price adjustments across all classes of fuels. According to Petrojam, recent movements in the U.S. Gulf Coast U.S. GCC reference prices for petroleum products have shown upward adjustments amid volatility in international energy markets. Natalie Campbell reports.
The refinery said as the primary pricing benchmark for this region, the USGC reference prices are relied upon to determine the ex-refinery prices for Petrojam's range of fuels. Based on the movements in these USGC reference prices for this week, Petrojam said the price range for transportation fuels reflected increases in the order of $8.45 to $12.66 per liter. The release stated that as designed, Petrojam's pricing mechanism mitigated the full impact of these increases. Therefore, the full price increases were not passed on in the ex-refinery prices. Petrojam said it will continue to closely monitor any change in the U.S. Gulf Coast USGC reference prices for the finished petroleum products. It noted that the company's pricing committee, which is comprised of internal personnel and observers from the Office of Utilities Regulation and the Ministries of Finance and Energy, meets every Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. to determine ex-refinery prices, which are published on the same day. In the meantime, Petrojam is reassuring the public that the refinery continues to maintain normal fuel inventory levels and that Jamaica's fuel supply remains stable. Petrojam said as the country's sole refinery and a key supplier to the local market, it continues to monitor international developments and remains committed to serving Jamaica's energy needs. As a cost-saving measure, Petrojam is reminding motorists to manage their fuel costs by ensuring they use the grade of fuel recommended by their vehicle manufacturer. In some cases, this may include using the more affordable 87-octane gasoline where appropriate. Motorists are also encouraged to practice efficient driving habits and energy management to help cushion the impact of higher fuel costs. Reporting for IRFM News, I am Natalie Campbell.
Relatives of the teenager who died after he was attacked at the Old High School in St. Anne yesterday are struggling to come to terms with his death. 16-year-old Devon Shearer, a grade 10 student, was reportedly hit in the head with a metal chair. Another grade 10 student, a 17-year-old, has been taken into custody in relation to the incident. More in the support from Maisha Brody.
IRFM News was informed that both pupils transferred recently to the school. Devon came from Green Island High in Hanover last September, while the accused started Oterias High last month. Reports are that the two had a dispute in Oterias Town on Tuesday. A day later, Devon was attacked while standing in a classroom. He sustained serious injuries and died at hospital. A team led by Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon and Member of Parliament Matthew Samuda visited the grieving family after going to the school this morning. The wails from his mother could be heard from outside as distressed family members tried to come to terms with the fact that Devon would never return home. His biological parents were too shaken to speak. However, Devon's stepmother, Merlene Chambers, told RFM News that she was the one who got the call about the terrible incident.
The teacher called me yesterday evening about 3 o'clock or some minutes to 3 and said I'm to come to the hospital because my son is on the way to the hospital. I said, what is it, man? Anyway, my other son, the biggest son, which is Craig, was here. I said, Craig, bring me to the school. And we went to the school and then from the school to the hospital. When I went to the hospital, I'm telling you, it's not a pretty sight. God in heaven, no, say it's not a pretty sight. Not to take God, we just hold me, God, come let me get out.
Miss Chambers said Devony was an ambitious child who asked her to secure a transfer for him to Oterias High.
Devony is a child where he not play much. We talk, but not too much. Devony love him schoolwork. He asked me 5 years ago to transfer him from Green Island High because he said, Auntie Mer, down here is not excelling. I'm not excelling enough the way I want to excel. So please move, because whenever he comes and spend holidays and he see the other kids up here and their books and they are in the same grade, he said, he doesn't know this work. You understand? I asked me. I transferred him last year because he begged me. And I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And I get him transferred up there. And miss, I am proud of Devon. Devon are the best.
Merlene Chambers, stepmother of a slain Oterias High student Devony Shearer. The Education Ministry says it will provide counseling to the family. Some upset residents who gathered in the area have been querying how the incident could have unfolded when the child was in a classroom with others. Reporting for RFM News, I'm Maisha Brody.
Meantime, Free Children Foundation has called for stronger conflict resolution education in schools following a fatal incident involving 2 students at the Oterias High School in St. Anne yesterday. Reports indicate that the students had an ongoing dispute which escalated into a physical confrontation, resulting in one of the boys suffering a head injury. The injured teen later succumbed, while the accused has been taken into police custody. Executive founder of the foundation, Africa Stevens, stressed the importance of the teaching of conflict resolution skills in schools.
Conflict resolution skills must be actively taught and practiced in schools before disagreements escalate into tragic events such as this. No parent should ever have to mourn the loss of their child due to unresolved conflict.
She emphasized that schools must move beyond punitive responses and invest in preventative strategies.
Schools must move beyond punitive responses and invest in preventative measures that equip students with the emotional and communication skills needed to manage disagreements peacefully. Free Children expresses profound sorrow and joins the nation in mourning the loss of this young life.
Executive founder of Free Children Foundation, Africa Stevens, she underscored that early intervention and structured conflict resolution frameworks can play a critical role in preventing disputes from escalating into violence. Ms. Stevens also noted that the tragic loss serves as a sobering reminder that conflicts among young people must be addressed early, intentionally, and constructively. Owen Miller, who was previously listed as a person of interest, is now wanted by the St. Elizabeth Police. This stems from an incident in the parish on Saturday, February 28. Reported at about 8:40 p.m., Miller and the female had a dispute, during which it's alleged that he unlawfully removed a firearm from a vehicle belonging to the complainant and discharged several rounds before fleeing the area. Miller is said to frequent George's Plain in Westmoreland and Whitewater Boulevard in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. He has been asked to report immediately to the Black River CIB. Anyone knowing Miller's whereabouts is being asked to contact the police. 2 additional persons have been charged in connection with an ongoing investigation into a card skimming and cryptocurrency laundering ring operating in Manchester. They are 25-year-old fast food restaurant employee Alric Bruce and 23-year-old Shani Smith, a sales representative, both of Highway Drive in Mandeville. The arrest on Monday, March 2, followed the initial apprehension of 3 fast food employees on February 14, 2026, where unauthorized transactions transactions totaling over $600,000 were reported. 2 firearms and 5 rounds of ammunition were also seized during simultaneous operations in Marvelly St. Andrew and Mandeville, Manchester. Reports said that between June 2025 and January 2026, Bruce allegedly compromised several customers' card information while working at a restaurant drive-thru, which he would use to purchase Bitcoin and then transfer the funds, approximately $1.5 million, to a bank account allegedly owned by Smith. Bruce was charged with conspiracy to defraud, simple larceny, possession of identity information, and breaches of the Proceeds of Crime Act. Smith has been charged with conspiracy to defraud and unlawfully making available advice or data for the commission of an offence. They are to appear in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Monday, May 4. Meanwhile, head of the police's Specialized Investigation Branch, Senior Superintendent Chris Brown, says the investigations continue.
We are receiving the full support and cooperation from the interested parties in this investigation, and permit me to use this medium once more to alert and remind the public to be vigilant, especially as they utilize their debit and credit cards at point of sales or drive-thrus. Commendation to the investigators assigned to this case.
Head of the Police's Specialized Investigations Branch, Senior Superintendent Chris Brown. The reconstituted National Artificial Intelligence AI Task Force has been charged to deliver 2 major outputs in parallel. The first is a draft national AI policy within 6 to 9 months, grounded in evidence and designed to be implementation ready. The other is draft legislative framework within 12 months, including a structured review of existing laws to determine what must be updated to reflect current AI realities. It's also to recommend an ongoing legislative review cycle to keep pace with technological change. Technology Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley convened the first meeting of the task force recently, following a cabinet decision to accelerate Jamaica's national AI program. More in the support from Natalie Campbell.
Technology Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley noted that the task force is intentionally designed as a multi-stakeholder national team with 23 members drawn from the public sector, academic institutions, civil society, and the private sector, bringing technical and policy expertise in AI and related areas. Dr. Wheatley underscored that AI must be viewed as core national infrastructure and must be governed in a way that accelerates productivity and innovation while protecting Jamaicans' rights and maintaining public trust. The minister reaffirmed the government's intent to build directly on the task force's prior work, particularly the National AI Policy Recommendations and the UNESCO AI Readiness Assessment Methodology RAM completed in 2025. The task force is chaired by Christopher Record. Dr. Wheatley underscored that the task force's core mandate is to support the development of a national AI policy and to analyze Jamaica's current legal and regulatory framework, including identifying gaps and recommending new legislation and or amendments to existing laws. In keeping with its terms of reference, the task force will drive structured stakeholder engagement, including national consultations, interviews, focus groups, and validation workshops, and may establish committees and working groups with ministries, departments, and agencies co-opted as needed to advance the work. Reporting for IRFM News, I am Natalie Campbell.
Meantime, Jamaica is actively positioning itself to remain competitive in the global services industry as artificial intelligence AI continues to reshape business operations worldwide. That's according to Minister of State for Industry and Commerce, Delana Seavright. He said while AI is expected to automate some routine functions, it will also create opportunities for more advanced roles within the sector. Mr. Seavright was speaking at the launch of the Portmore Incubator and Linkages Forum at the Portmore Informatics Park in St. Catherine recently. He noted that Jamaica's global digital services and business process outsourcing BPO sector employs more than 50,000 citizens, providing a major source of jobs for young people and generating foreign exchange for the country. Mr. Severett said the industry has always evolved with technology and must continue that adaptation as AI tools become more widely used across customer experience and business support operations. He noted that the focus must now be on moving further into higher value services, including complex customer engagement, compliance-driven support, analytics, and AI-assisted operations.
AI adoption is accelerating, but full integration, workflow redesign, and governance capabilities are not evenly mature across organizations. That gap creates opportunities for countries and firms that can combine AI-enabled operations, strong people capability, and disciplined governance. So Jamaica can be one of those places if we position correctly, and I think we are positioning correctly, albeit a little slow, but it's coming along.
Minister of State for Industry and Commerce Delano Severett. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says there is not enough concentrated land in Jamaica to fix the housing problem. He made this statement at Tuesday's launch of the Chester Creek development in St. Catherine. Dr. Holness noted that while there is a lot of land across the country, many are unsuitable to build. He also pointed out that the government would also have to spend more on infrastructure to provide access to these houses.
We don't have enough land that is concentrated in one particular area, as Portmore was, which allowed for building out at scale. Bear in mind, I can hear the retort, you have land all over Jamaica. Not every land is suitable for housing. And if you build on those lands, you increase the cost of housing. For example, if you build on lands that are far away, let's say, from where people work, the cost to people who buy that is going to be higher. They have to pay more in public transportation and all kinds of things. But more than that, we can't build the land in the middle of the house, in the middle of nowhere. We are going to have to provide roads, bring electricity, bring sewage, bring water. The cost is going to go up. Why Portmore became the sweet spot for housing was its proximity to Kingston and the construction of the Causeway Bridge.
He further noted that Portmore was uncontested land which the government reclaimed. According to Dr. Holness, to combat the supply side of the issue, the government has been doing master planning of entire communities, for instance, the Bernard Lodge development.
Further, it was uncontested land. There was nobody already living here. It was a low-lying swamp which the government reclaimed. Now think about government trying to do this somewhere else, where people have already started to build. Some have already started to squat on the land illegally. You find all kinds of irregularly settled communities. You're going to have to negotiate with them. Then you have to find place to put those who that you'll have to relocate. So the challenge for us as we seek to solve the housing problem is to solve the supply side of the issue. How have we started to do that? One, we have started to do master planning of entire community. And the first of that major master plan would be the Bernard Lodge community, here again in St. Catherine, Portmore, the parish. And that is going very well.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. IRFM News journalist Shanice Gibbs has been nominated for 2 categories in the Press Association of Jamaica's 2025 National Journalism Awards. Ms. Gibbs is nominated for the categories of Best Radio Feature Documentary and Award for Excellence in Reporting on Health and Wellness. One of her submissions is Behind the Journalist's Mask, Covering Tragedies, which aired last March, and the other submission is Phones Copping Out, Police Stations and Dispatchers Under Scrutiny, aired last July. National Journalism Week, observed under the theme Truth Always, began on March 1 and will culminate with the awards ceremony on Saturday, March 7. The Louis Grant Conference Center at Sandals Duns River in St. Anne has been officially opened. The state-of-the-art facility, named after the late hospitality industry icon and Sandals general manager, was opened on Tuesday. The center serves as an ideal meeting space in St. Anne and is part of the resort's continued efforts to cement its place in the meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions market. The facility boasts a large space that can be converted into 3 meeting rooms dubbed Laughing Waters, White River, and Fern Gully, key tourist attractions in St. Anne. Over $2 million has been spent on the facility so far. Regional Managing Director for Sandals Resorts International in Jamaica, Jeremy Jones, said the figure is expected to increase as more work is done. He said the facility is expected to boost business for Sandals.
We've always had great group business, and we've always had great meeting and incentives. Sandals Duns River was actually one of the first resorts when we operated it initially in the mid-90s that actually started some group business coming into Jamaica as part of the Marits and Mice program. So this is just the next evolution by putting a facility in place now that is going to meet all the international standards for the big businesses, both local and international, that want a top-flight facility at their disposal. We've already had a couple of local groups using the facility as well, and we've had international business coming in. So if you're looking to host a top-quality, top-flight function, program, whether it's an individual event or a sequence of events, you're not going to find better facilities anywhere in Jamaica.
Regional Managing Director for Sandals Resorts International in Jamaica, Jeremy Jones. And with that story, we have come to the end